Hello. Welcome to the Christel Crawford Show. I am Christel Crawford, and this week's topic is awesome. Are you in the business of succeeding, or are you in the business of gathering proof why you can't? Hi, Hannah. Nice to see you. Are you in the business of succeeding, or are you in the business of gathering proof why you can't? So I did a post on Facebook about this just the other day. Hey, Kinga. And I've been looking at the business success thing a lot lately. If you guys are in any of my classes, you've heard me talk a lot about this in and around. Hi, Erna. Hi, Yvonne. Hi, Zara. Hi, Cynthia. Hi. And I mean, this whole awareness of the business of succeeding came from Shannon O'Hara's class called The Business of Succeeding. Hi, Zara. And it's a class not for the faint of heart, I would say. It's a class for the people that are really willing, at least in the beginning, to look at, hey, what do I actually want to succeed at? Getting really honest with yourself about what you want to succeed at, what success with your business is for you, why access. You know, there's all these really big conversations that we've been having that she's been inviting us to have with ourselves. And I kind of get why this might not be a popular live, because it's kind of confronting, right? Like, are you in the business of succeeding, or are you in the business of proving why you can't do things, right? And I don't know if anybody actually really wants to attend that conversation. But one of the things that I started looking at with this whole thing of life is that we are always in business. You, whether you have an official business or not, are always in business. You're in the business of creating whatever it is you've got going on underneath the surface. You're in the business. You're in business. You're in business. So if that's true, let's just pretend that's true for a minute. What are you in the business of exactly? And that kind of got fun for me to look at, because I was like, well, if with money, I'm in the business of succeeding with money, then I'm going to be making really, really different choices than if I'm in the business of proving why I can't with money, right? And this is something I just had to start looking at across the board. Like, well, am I in the business of succeeding with this, or am I in the business of failing with this? Like, what am I, because I'm creating something. So I'm always creating. I'm an obsessive compulsive creator. We all, maybe you've looked at that for yourself. Hi, Heidi Ann. Hi, Ulrike. So I'm always creating something. So what is it that I'm busy doing right now, being right now? What am I functioning from right now that's actually creating what's showing up in my life? And you know, that's not your everyday over coffee conversation. Well, it is for me. I have those conversations over coffee every day. But it might not be for you. But what you may be looking at is, why are things not changing? Or what is wanting to change something, or wanting to change an area of your life that you feel like you can't change. And that's what I run into more than anything else as I'm facilitating, is people that are like, I've done this, and I've done this, and I've done this, and I've done this, and it's just not changing. Well, this question of like, what are you in the business of succeeding at right now? Are you actually going, I don't care what it takes to change this, I'm going to be in the business of succeeding with this? Or are you looking for all the reasons why you just can't do it, why you can't go to the class, or you can't, you've tried this and you've tried this and you've tried this, but you just can't, right? That's a completely different energy to be with yourself, and it's going to create something completely different in your life. And actually, somebody on the live here is a great example of this, where she and I got into a conversation initially about all the things that were really showing up in her life that were super, super hard, and she didn't seem able to overcome. And I will tell you that I'm about to see this lady this coming weekend in a class that she ended up choosing and creating because she became about the business of succeeding to get here. She became about the business of succeeding instead about the business of creating and finding proof why she couldn't go to the class. And so the result is changing. It changed. And that's what happens when you change where you're functioning from underneath here, and when you start to get really honest with yourself about what's going on for you with things. I'm going to give you another real-time, real-life example from my own life. So last week I did an episode called, I think it was called 3 Easy Ways to Destroy Your Relationship, right? And basically I was like, well, you project on it, you expect on it, and then you try to hold that person to it, that you're destroying your relationship. Well, I will tell you that my relationship, as it was 2 days ago, is now over. It's over. And what happened is he projected and expected that I do what he called one simple thing. It's not something I can deliver. It wasn't even a realistic thing. And then he got violent about it. And now it's over. It's actually that quick to destroy something. And the way you destroy it is you project and you expect, and you hold those as more valuable than what it will actually take to succeed at something. Now, I will tell you that for him to have succeeded with me in a relationship, all it would have taken is for him to just fucking relax. Just relax. These things that you don't understand, it's okay. Nobody's dying here. But his need for blowing things out of proportion and for actually reacting and trying to created a problem where there was no problem, and also created him into this energy that actually stopped working for me and crossed the line. So that's the difference between, and really I was watching this happen of him gathering proof why this wouldn't work based on what he had decided he needed that wasn't actually what needed to occur. So it was an instantaneous destruction of something that could have continued creating possibilities in the world. It was instantaneous destruction. And I watch this constantly in my own life, and I watch this in the lives of the people that I play with in my classes. You can instantaneously destroy something, and you can instantaneously create something. That's how powerful you are. And if there's destruction after destruction after destruction going on in your life, you could look at, what am I actually creating here? And am I in the business of succeeding with my life right now? Is that something I've invited myself to? Because what would success with my life be like for me? That's not a question that I was ever invited to ask, and I never looked at it. So it was a lot like being a rudderless ship for me a lot of my life, even up till recently. Of like, well, that looks good, and that looks good, and oh, well, I guess I'll go over here. And that's not wrong. That's just kind of how I did it. So it's like, so what is succeeding with my life? And as I started to look at that, for me, it got really clear. And I'm going to give you a tool, actually, that I started to use, that I used in my awareness challenge group that has changed my life. But I started to use this tool of, what would it take for me to be willing to live the energy of what I would like my life to be so that it can show up for me in totality? Now, that's a really different ask than, what would it take for my projections and expectations to be met so that I can have the thing I think I want, which isn't a question. And that's where he was functioning from. I am projecting and expecting that you have to do this thing because I've decided that this thing is what I've decided a good relationship is, and you can't do this thing, so then we can't have a relationship. That is exactly what happened. That point of view destroyed it intensely, quickly, expediently, right? But the question of, well, what would it take for me to be willing to live the energy of what I'd like my life to be? What does that mean? How do you discover that? Man, when I look around my life and the people in my life, I can find the energies that I'd like my life to be, and some of the people in my life that are generosity of spirit and actual kindness, which is delivering only what's required and nothing more, you know? This lush and luxurious elegance, and I can't even put words to all of them right now, but I have a sense of it. And if you start to ask that question, you'll get a sense of it. And then you can be about the business of succeeding at what you'd like your life to be like. That's when you can be about the business of choosing the things that match the energy of what you would like your life to be like. You can, at that point, be about that business. And it is not going to be, it's not a cognitive process. It's an energetic being process that you can be led by. And you'll know when things don't match if you keep asking that question. Gary's challenge to all of us was to ask that question 30 times a day for 30 days. What would it be like to be willing to live the energy of what I would like my life to be so that it can show up for me in totality, and everything that doesn't allow it, and all the thoughts and feelings and emotions and no sex I'm using to absolutely refuse and reject my life and the energy I'd like my life to be. I destroy and create all that. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, online shorts, boys and beyonds. Why? Because thoughts and feelings and emotions and no receiving destroy everything, just like they did 2 days ago. It destroyed everything in about 2.5 seconds. That's how quick and powerful you are. So when you can just give yourself a second and go, okay, I'm about to destroy this. Would I like to? Right? Or would I like to create something else? And what would I like to be about here? We're so used to, I don't want this, and I don't want that, and I don't want this energy in my life, and you go to a social gathering, you're like, oh, not that person, and she's insane, and you start your business, and you're like, oh, I don't like that way of doing it, and that guy's fake, and I don't want to be that. That's how we're used to, like, functioning of, like, I don't like, till we've whittled it down to basically we like two things on the planet, our cat, and in our bedroom. I do like those two things, right? But what we don't ask is, what would I like it to be like? We don't ask in the direction of generating something new, of being something different in the world. And we're not taught to do that. You're taught to look at what you don't like and eliminate the things you don't like and eliminate the abuse. But then what? Okay, so we pocked and potted things, and now we've got a tiny little postage stamp reality. Now what? What are you at? Like, truly, now what? Well, now is the success conversation. Okay, so I have successfully, I've been about the business of succeeding at finding out why I can't do things. What if I were about the business of succeeding at why I can? What if I were about the business of finding out the energies of the life I would like to have? And I will tell you, so 2 days ago that all changed. I'm staying in Stephanie's beautiful house right now. Literally that same night, I actualized a stunning, beautiful apartment that I just became willing to pay for. I haven't had to pay for an apartment in like 4 or 5 months. I'm like, I don't care what it takes. I'm going to have that. Why? It matches every energy of the life that I want to have. It's the moving forward of the life I want to have. It's the elegance and the ease and the beauty and the nature and all of the things of the life I want to have. And I became willing to live it now through asking and being that question. So now I can advance those energies in the world by making choices that match them. This choice matches every energy that I am, that I'm asking for, of the life that I'd like to have. And I've allowed myself the gift of receiving those energies by just continuing to ask and choose and destroy and create anything that wouldn't allow them, And so people drop off when you do. That's the other thing, is that once you become willing to live the energy of the life you'd like to have, people also will eliminate themselves out of your life just like that. That is just what occurs. You become a different resonance. You are resonating in the world a different way. And if you are willing to just commit to that resonance of you, you will make choices that match that, and you will actualize the life you desire. You can succeed at the life you desire. It is a possibility for you if you're willing to be it and have it and choose it. Now, you may still be at the point where you are secretly succeeding at failing. That's okay too. None of it's right, none of it's wrong. It all just is. So, but the way to something different, and then I'm going to tie this into to creating classes that you'd like to have. Like, what is the energy, the way to, 18 things. The way to any difference in your life, the way to any change, any different choice, is to just acknowledge what is right now. Just acknowledge what is right now. I'm secretly succeeding at failing. I'm secretly succeeding at trying to prove that I can while not really doing it, while feeling like I can't. I'm secretly succeeding at that right now. That's where all my energy is going. So, okay, cool. No problem there. That's actually a possibility. Once you can acknowledge where you're functioning from, that becomes the possibility for a different choice. Because if you are being unconscious about all this stuff, you have no possibility of a different choice. You're unconscious. It's like if somebody knocks you out with a gun, you can't move, you're unconscious. That's how you're living your life, is like unconscious, walking through your life, sleepwalking, right? That's so many of us do this in so many areas. So the awakeness of, wow, I'm really functioning from, I'm secretly succeeding at proving I can't do this. And I'm really good at that. I'm secretly succeeding at holding my past expenditures firmly in place, and I'm really good at doing that. I'm secretly succeeding at keeping my classes really, 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 really tiny, and I'm good at it. I'm like really good at it. I'm not actually sure how I'm doing it. It's a mystery, but I'm good at it, right? That's what's happening right now. Okay, cool. So if I were in the business of succeeding at creating bigger classes, what would I change? What choices would I make that are different? If I just turned around. So right now, there may be this set of unconscious choices running the show. Well, there always are. You are always functioning from and being run by your unconscious choices, by the way. And you can tell by what's showing up in your life, okay? Sometimes those unconscious choices are just innate greatness, right? We're just functioning from innate greatness. We're not doing a lot, there's no thinking, it's just showing up great, right? Most of the time when things aren't working, when we're dissatisfied with something, we are functioning from something that is less than what we are actually able to choose. But you've got to first acknowledge, well, I'm functioning from something like that. It's that. That's what's showing up. That's where I'm functioning from. All right. Well, if I just turned around and I went like this and I was like, well, what would it be like to be about the business of succeeding with this? Try that on. It's going to have an energy to it. It's going to be a bigger energy than you got going on over here. I'll tell you that right now. It's going to have a really different energy to it. And it might even have the energies of the future you came here to create. Because I'll tell you what, y'all that watch my shit, you don't watch my shit if you didn't come here to create a different future. I'm telling you. Because I'll just annoy the shit out of you. So if you're watching this, did you come here to create a different future? Is there anyone else that actually knows what you know? Is there anyone else that can advance what you know into the world in the way that you can? If you got no to either one of those, then what the fuck's going on? Get to work, bitch! Right? That's what I looked at. I'm like, nobody else knows what I know. Nobody else has my flavor. Nobody else sees things the way I do. Nobody else talks about things the way I do. Nobody else is as willing to do as many videos in one day as I'm willing to do. Right? I am a unique, wholly unique, completely set apart individual possibility of consciousness. And so are you. And so if I give up on the creation of something, then it won't exist. If Edison gave up on creating the light bulb, we don't actually know if we would have ever gotten a light bulb. Something else might have shown up, but it took him over 1,000 times to get a light bulb that worked. 1,000 times! That's a lot. Sometimes I look at that and I'm like, that's too many. You know, like I would have given up, I'm pretty sure I would have given up on time 10. Time 10 would have been like, won't this thing create itself yesterday, you know? So this energy that you are, that you came here to be, is going to take a minute to actualize. But if you're willing to commit to it, it can actualize. It's a future that can show up. So if you have classes that you're doing and they are too small for you right now, is this really enough for me? Is another great question. Is this really enough for me? Okay, this is what's showing up. Is that enough? No. So what would I have to be? What would I have to do? What would I have to create? What would I have to generate? What would I have to be willing to have that would change this with ease? What actions could I take? If I were going to be about the business of succeeding with this, not the business of lamenting about it, not the business of crying about it, not the business of trying to pock and pod myself into a different possibility, although sometimes that works. If I were about the business of succeeding with this, what would I change? If this were going to be an energy that exists in the world because I'm having this in the world, and whether anybody else follows me or not, I'm going to lead myself around. You know, I'm just going to lead. If anybody follows, great. If they don't follow, great. I'm having it. And it would be way more fun for me to have 18 people in my classes, 50 people in my classes, than 2, okay? Or nobody signing up. That just sounds more fun. So what does that take? And really go, and no matter what it takes, I'm having it. So what could I choose? What could I be? What could I have? What could I create? What could I generate that would allow that future to show up with ease? If I keep functioning from, if I keep being about the business of finding proof why I can't, will that future show up? If I choose to be about the business of succeeding, can that future show up? And what is success with classes for me anyway? Like, it's different for everybody, right? For some people, success with classes might be hundreds of thousands of people. Don't go into fantasy on this. Don't tell yourself success is 100,000 people when success for you is really 5. This is where you have to be honest with yourself, because if you go into fantasy, it also can't show up because that's a projection and expectation, and then you get to separate, judge, and reject yourself. Dumbass. That's what I have to tell myself all the time. Dumbass, dumbass. You know? Why would I choose that? When I could actually just choose a reality that I can actualize. I am, I will, I have. I am. That, from that place, you can actualize anything you want. I am. And I will. And I have it. And we're going forward, no matter how long it takes, no matter what shows up, no matter how it shows up or when it shows up, this will exist. And I will have the life that I'm asking for. I will have it. I am having it now. And I will have it in the small choices, or the choices that maybe I deem small right now. And I know that every single choice that I make is another building block and another exponentialization of the energy that I am forwarding in the world. Only I can do it. I'm having it. It is beautiful. It is magical. It is elegant. It is nurturing. It is kind. It is glorious. What did you come here to create? And are you willing to be the champion of it? In the small things, in the things that look like daily life. Are you willing to go? What would it take for me to be willing to live this energy so that it can show up? You become its mouthpiece, the harbinger of a different possibility. Sure, we want more people in our classes, but why? What are you facilitating in the world? Do you just want more people in your classes, just to have more people in your classes? Or are you facilitating a different possibility in the world, and the more people that are there, the more this possibility can have the possibility of existing in the world? You got to pull yourself out from these little things that we say are so important to us. I want to have more money. Okay, why? Why? What are you creating with the money? I want to have more people in my classes. Why? What are you creating with your classes? Get a sense of that. Because if you, I guarantee you, you walk around the world as that energy shit will show up. It will be incredibly, incredibly ease, joy, and glory, and magical. And if you don't want that, just hang up. Just delete this video. But if that's something that deep down in your guts, you're like, that. I don't know how to get there. I feel like I'm 18,000 miles off, but I'm going to start asking that question. What would it take for me to be willing to live the energy of what I'd like my life to be, so that it can show up for me in totality, and everything that doesn't allow that, and all the thoughts, feelings, and emotions and no sex I'm using to refuse and reject my life and the energy I'd like my life to be, fucking destroy it and create all that. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all in shorts, boys, beyonds. I'm having it. I am having hundreds of people in my classes. I don't care what point of view I have to sacrifice. Who cares? They're points of view. They don't mean anything. Okay, I have the point of view that I can't do it. Fine, done, killed, never mind. I have the point of view that it's going to be hard. Fine, never mind. I have the point of view that it's going to be out of control. Okay, fine, never mind. I have the point of view that blah, blah, blah. Who cares? They're just a point of view. It's a point of view. Who cares? You can get a new one just like that. They're like underwear. You can throw it away and order online at Victoria's Secret tomorrow and have a whole new set. And they'll be fresher and nicer and prettier. Points of view are like underwear. You're welcome. That will only be your point of view if you are willing to turn around and just go, I am going to be in the business of succeeding with this. And I don't care how it shows up. I'm doing this. Fuck it. I'm a gift. So I'm so grateful for you guys beyond words. And I am really grateful that you show up with me every week. And a lot of you do show up live with me every week. And I'm grateful for all of you that watch in the future. And so if this conversation was a gift to you, I'd be really grateful if you'd share it. And I am doing a class, 6 Zooms, called Big Fucking Classes. And we're going to look at all this in great detail. And I want you to bring what you feel limited by. Bring the energies that you are unwilling to be. I want you to bring that stuff so that we can have a vibrant conversation and create a different possibility for all of us on the planet. Thank you, Katie. And thank you, Jamie Joy. And thank you, all of you. And I will see you again next week. And if you're joining me in the 6 classes, we start on Wednesday, October something. Someone will put a link in the comments. Bye.